This episode of Speakers of Eidolon is made possible by our generous patrons. Special thanks to our Supreme and Master Speakers, Circa Barakeel, Remy Azalea, Ray Cypher, Omega Cat Comet, Erizu Yamakawa, Arcadia Lunashine, Dramavian, Nina Grimstarter, Casey Schaefer, Dimos, Lily Black, Hans Grenade, Sapa Chakwatol, Faris Gentoru, Cletus Oreo, Quick Levin, Luke Leonatrell, Stella Bell, Ceres, Icy Lee, Lyria Rain, Pamela Isley, Umbral Wind, Naive Arano, Celeste Rasgris, Elenriel Maximus, Edwin, Bob CC, Fabson Voidworm, Raimi Maverick, Codred No, Mira Miri, Winebow Brood, Bay Barbalay, Kaiser Regina, Uzora Akari, AJ Brainswordson, Suno Shikano, Yowie Wowie, Cheshire Saltiri, Gideon Ura, Buster Gearhold, and Nat Clay. Support the show and become a patron today at patreon.com/speakersxiv. Thank you.
This is Speakers of Eidolon.
Good evening, Aorcians. Welcome to Speakers of Eidolon, episode 221. I'm Lukiel Bravestone, and I'm joined today by Georgi Wiston and Rollo Des. It is November 14th, 2020. Today's main topics: Q&A with Yoshi-P about Final Fantasy, the MMO market, and the economy. So, a bit of a different kind of interview compared to what we've had the last few weeks. We'll also talk about the updates to Bozja. There's been a hotfix that made some weird changes to, or maybe good changes. We'll discuss that to Bozja. And of course, we'll be reading your MogMail, speakersxiv.com/MogMail. Stay tuned for the post-show. We'll be answering questions from the Syndicate. There's also stuff we're going to discuss in the post-show as well, so make sure you catch that. Now, for channel updates, beefy today. First of all, SoaR, if you're a patron, it will be up later tonight / tomorrow if you're European. Renders take a long time. So for North America, it'll probably still be out on the 14th, but for Europeans, I'm afraid it's already too late for it to come out on the 14th, because this podcast ends when the 14th ends. It'll premiere next week on the post show for non-patrons. So hype. Also, another announcement, and I'm going to announce it in video form. This is a surprise to the other speakers as well. Here's our first announcement of the night. Welcome to the 12-hour stream, everyone.
Hello.
Here we are.
This is us.
This is wrong, dude. We're so cute. Oh my god.
That is disgusting.
Guys, we unlocked LB.
Oh, fuck.
Okay.
Oh, fuck.
Oh,
Oh
no!
my god.
No!
Oh, god. Who's
Rollo,
after Rollo?
sprint.
Everyone else.
Sprint. I'm fucked.
Anyway.
Oh my god, I'm fucked.
We did it, boys!
Oh,
there he
Jesus Christ.
Like stud
What is
muffin, dude.
happening? Can we kill this dude?
Yep.
Every
Fucking
single
hate
time.
Goofy.
Why?
How dare you say that? He's
I
such
want
a
to burn him
nice...
at this. I just want to burn him. I want to light him on fire.
Would be fun to see him burn.
It would be fun to see him burn.
Like at launch, even the mouse movements had to be confirmed by the
What?
server. It was server-side checks.
That's literally the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life.
That sounds like such a terrible
That is-
idea.
Sweet, I'm done.
What? Why?
There I am as a Lalafell.
Oh, disgusting.
How dare you, Rollo? You're a Lalafell too.
Alright.
Yeah! You did it!
Fuck out of here.
Okay, let's fucking run.
Get out of here.
Okay. You have to go step into the shower, right?
Oh, yeah.
What if you can bring the shower with you? Introducing the Moist Pack.
When you just can't shut up in the bathroom, you just gag yourself.
Oh, God.
Oh.
I need you to do me a favor. You will do this for me. I need you to go to GameStop. I need you to ask that bastard that works at the counter if they have Bambi on the PS2. If you come back empty-handed, you'll be in big trouble, mister. You'll never see the light of day.
Okay, so 12-hour stream, 2020 on December 18th. We'll get back to you with the time because we actually don't have the start times fleshed out yet. But it is on December 18th, so hopefully you'll join us for that. That's usually quite fun. It is, I can say, it is a tradition. We've done it every year since 2017. I don't have any footage from 2017, but what you saw in that one was from 18 and 19. So that's big hype. We'll be playing, we'll be doing the Lala Run.
Classic.
Yes. Mario Party, that's new this year. Palace of the Dead, Race to Floor 200, and what was the last one? Return to SoaR. And I think in between there might be just some regular 14. We usually have 14 like sprinkled in between segments as well. So you can join in on the fun as well. Right. So that's the first announcement. The next one is the vaguest announcement we can make, but we have to start teasing it now. There is a new project coming up from Speakers Network. We can't say much about it, but it's to use words that Yoshi-P have used. It is further in production than you'd think.
Wow, you're so professional.
Yes. The full announcement will... The full announcement will be closer to the anniversary of 14. Of Speakers of Eidolon. I think the anniversary episode is... Well, our anniversary is on the 6th, so whichever episode comes after the 6th. I think it's the 7th. Or is it before? I don't remember. Let me do this real quick. 6th is a Sunday, so it'll be on the 5th, I guess, the day before the anniversary. It is not a child. We are not with child. It is a project.
Your new lineage. It's
Yes, it is.
gonna be a prodigy.
Yeah, it is. It's very exciting. So please look forward to that. Final Fantasy VIII playthrough, the legendary Final Fantasy VIII playthrough, is now out on Speaker's Place. It'll be out every Thursday, each new episode. So if you missed that, you can now finally watch it, so you understand the references to lasagna, meatball-y, sisters, a lot of things that we've mentioned. Also, minimum eye level
Oh my god.
returning. We are bringing minimum eye level back, but we're going to change a few things around to make it fresher, but essentially, it's going to be more like the minimum eye level you knew before. I think we're going a little bit back to the roots with a twist. I think that's as much as I can say. So that's also very fun. I can't no dates for that yet, but it's imminent. It's imminent. Lastly, we're going to release a survey just to figure out where we should go in going forward. It's the end of the year. It's time to figure out where we're going in 2021. So a massive poll or survey will be released. We will post it. Are we posting it now, or should we should post it after the show, I think. Because it'll go out in the Discord announcement channels, and if you're watching it on demand, link to it will be in the description. We can post it in the post-show, I think, here.
Yes, I was thinking we can post it either during the post-show or during the wait time before the post-show.
Yes. That is a very important survey for us, so if you have the time, please consider filling it out. It's only 3 questions, so... I
like that you said it was a very big poll.
For us it is. Like I meant, like for the
impact of the
channel.
poll
Yeah.
is big.
This will
The
help
poll itself
us.
is small.
Yeah. It'll help us plan ahead. All right, that's that for channel updates. A lot to look forward to. Now, what have we done this week in 14? Okay, let's start with
That one. He
Rollo.
wasn't here last
Yeah,
week.
you weren't here last week, so Rollo.
Pointing at your
Oh.
curtain. Fool. Anyway, I've been playing Monk still. I got that to 62.
Okay.
One.
Mm.
Of those.
Mm-hmm.
Monk doesn't change, does it? Monk doesn't change.
No.
Like, I always heard, like, okay, once you hit 50, you've basically capped out Monk.
Yeah.
But none of the skills I've gotten have, like, had any major, aside from, like, form shift and some, the one lets you use skills out of, oh, no, it's level 50 skill, never mind. There's just, and, like, I'm reading the other skill as I'm leveling up and what's ahead, and it's like, cast Riddle of Fire.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't seem like there's any super, aside from the chakra stuff, I guess, but
Yeah.
there's nothing. There's nothing.
It makes it clear why there's like a big Monk rework coming up. I guess.
Did you decide to level Monk because you wanted to see what it was like before the rework, Rollo? Or is this
Yeah.
just a coincidence? Okay.
Yeah.
I did that with, like,
Mm-hmm.
I think I like Machinist more as I was loving. Monk means all right. I can use True North about half the time, so positionals don't really matter.
Mm-hmm.
I can see why, because Monk was one of the first jobs I played when I started 14.
Right.
When I started playing like, you know, at the start, I was like, wow, this seems so confusing to me for some reason. I don't know why. I guess because there's no, like, true combo like there are other ones, because you can just go from one chain, any skill to any other skill, basically, as long as it's in the next form.
Mm-hmm.
And I got that to, like, level 20, I think, or level 30, and it just gave up and switched to something else because I was so confused. But I was a baby in, like, 2015, so whatever.
Yeah.
I'm an adult.
You really were.
Child. All right, that's all I really did.
Okay. Georgi?
I have been leveling Samurai a little bit more. I take back what I said last week. It's not very complicated. Other than that, I have done a little bit more Bozja, and I got to do the thing that we've all been threatening to do for a while. Well, not Lukiel, because he declines every duel he gets offered in Bozja.
Yeah.
But I got to do the thing where I got to do the duel. I got to do the duel with Lion, which is a shame because it's the duel that I know by far the least about.
Yeah.
And so I died about 15 seconds into the duel and made a bunch of people very angry. And they all refused to raise me after I died.
Oh, wow.
What? Did you actually have to take a metal loss?
Yes.
That's so funny.
We're having double ups
Oh.
here.
Are we doubling up?
Hold on. There we go. Yeah, that's my biggest fear. That's why I always decline. That shame is not something I want to deal with. And then having to like be that guy throughout the entire like zone, like for that instance, I'd be constantly thinking about it like, oh, they'll
I will
recognize
say,
me.
the instance was dying. There weren't many people there, and that was largely a result. That's largely what led to me having to release, is because the few people that were there left, and then the instance pretty much emptied out. So I had no choice but to release.
Yeah.
What did you go in as?
What did I go in as? I went in as Scholar, but like I just don't know how the lion fight works, especially compared to the Gabriel fight, which I know pretty much entirely.
Right.
So
Gabriel.
I just did not know what was happening.
To this day, I've still never seen the buff from anyone winning a duel, and I'm like,
see, here's the thing. Earlier in that very instance, someone did win a duel, but they won the duel just before Castrum, so pretty much no one got to take advantage of the metal bonus that happened instance-wide.
Well, I guess that's why people get upset if people fail it, I guess, because they don't get that bonus.
I wouldn't have done it if the instance wasn't close to dying.
Yeah.
Fuck it, you can do it. I mean, as long as you're not doing it to fail, like on purpose.
I mean, I wasn't trying to fail.
Yeah. Like,
how quickly did you die, by the way? Did you?
About 15, 20 seconds in.
That's funny. You should be able to try it out, though. There's always gonna be more duels. What's the matter?
Yeah. I haven't really done anything other than what... Have we done anything on stream this week? I don't know if we have. I think we did. Oh, we did some Bozja, I think. We watched Case cooking for the most part, though, because you went into Castrum without me, because for some reason I didn't get in. There was just no... There was no room for me, I think. Is that what it was? It was full?
So something I've read, and I don't know how true this is that even if the party leader registers for the party to go into a critical engagement, including Castrum, there is no guarantee that everyone in the party will get brought into the critical engagement.
Okay.
It is possible that it will pick some people, but not all of them.
That's what happened.
I thought the point was that like it was either the entire party or none of the party would get it, right? Isn't that how?
That's what I thought, but this is something I, as I said, I don't know how confirmed this information is, so I don't want to definitively say this is the reason.
We have the proof. It didn't have there's a 6-minute registration time, and it had literally dinged 10 seconds earlier. I was doing something else, and then when I tabbed back in, it was never. It didn't ding for me. I think it just was not happening. So yeah, there you go. That's our week in 14. There's more exciting stuff, though, coming up than our very boring week in 14. It's time for recent events. In recent events, we have it. We have the date for the Letter from the Producer Live, part 61. 61, yes. It is November 27th. We'll finally get to hear the latest information for patch 5.4 on Friday, November 27th, like I just said, at 11 a.m. GMT, 12 p.m. Central European, and I don't know what that is in North American time.
It's
6 a.m.
6
Yeah,
6 a.m. Eastern.
Yeah.
Ooh, 6 a.m. Eastern, 3 a.m. Pacific.
Yeah.
Terrible times.
something like 9 or 10 p.m. my time. So excellent time for me.
Mm-hmm.
Just call the group on Discord, and then that'll probably wake me.
Okay. All right.
You're going to wake up from a Discord call, are you?
Yeah, that's happened. You've woken me up through Discord calls.
That's true. We did
Remember
that
the Square
once.
Enix one? That's how that happened.
That's true.
Okay.
Okay. I just know that I would be infuriated if I got a Discord call at 6 a.m. while I was sleeping. Okay. Right. We will in this live letter we will get more information about patch 5.4. This is preview part 2, so that means it's the live letter where we get to see things. I'm assuming a trailer and patch art. And maybe a few demos of some of the stuff. It feels like it's been so long since part 1, so I can't even remember what we're getting this. Well, there's Eden.
Here's a question.
Yes?
What's the name of this patch?
Light dangles below. That's my guess. That's my final answer.
See, I don't know the answer. I was hoping someone else did.
I don't remember. Future rewritten. Is that what it is?
Yeah. Let's make up something stupid. But it's that. Okay.
Yeah. Light dangles below is pretty good as well. I think that can be like the next patch, 5.5. Right. So miscellaneous updates as well, which probably just includes a lot of merch, but also possibly more information about FanFest. It looks likely that there won't be anything in 2021 unless it's like at the very physical, unless it's at the very end of 2021, because now other cons are being cancelled for 2021 as well, because unfortunately the world has not stabilized yet after during this global thing that's happening. So I'm assuming they're going to announce the all digital FanFest. So yeah, exciting. I like live letters. We will of course be covering it. So make sure you tune in here for our live coverage. Also, moving on to the next case or next update, automatic demolition. Next case. This is our next case. Recommencement of automatic demolition.
Can I quickly say, whoever posted this to the subreddit, instead of saying automatic demolition, said automatic destruction.
It's more dramatic. The automatic demolition of estates was suspended in March 2020 due to the worldwide spread of the novel coronavirus COVID-19. Let's just put all the words in there so that YouTube opens its eyes and looks at us directly. However, after careful consideration, we have decided to resume auto demolition with the release of patch 5.4. Although COVID-19 continues to have a large impact on our daily lives and economy, we are grateful for our many players worldwide who have continued to play Final Fantasy XIV after our decision to suspend auto demolition. We believe this new lifestyle and economic situation of living alongside COVID-19 will continue for the long term, and have therefore decided to resume auto demolition. The development and operations teams offer their deepest sympathies and wish the speedy recovery of those who have been affected by the worldwide spread of COVID-19. There is a possibility the timer will be suspended again should the need arise. So, scheduled release timing for patch 5.4, December 2020. The exact date... Oh yeah, we didn't even mention that when we talked about the live letter. We kind of have an idea of when patch 5.4 will be out, and that is on the 8th?
Yeah.
8th of December is the most likely date. 15th of December at the latest.
Yes, because it's usually 2 weeks after a live letter. So, yeah.
Yes.
Sorry, yeah, okay. So, auto demolition counter and current estate owners. The counter for auto demolition may be reset for certain estates depending on the usage of housing during the period when estate demolition was suspended. If an estate hasn't been built on the plot, the counter may be reset upon entering the estate once it has been built. So that's like it's just standard. This is the same thing for which is
go inside your house from time to time if you feel like keeping it.
Yeah.
And if you're buying land, don't make sure you buy land with enough time to build a house to go inside of.
Yes. You can't just walk onto the plot and then it'll reset. You need an estate. You need a house to enter. For players who have entered their estate at least once during the suspension period, the auto-demolition timer will be reset for free company estates that have been entered by a leader or member at least once, and private estates that have been entered by the owner at least once. So if you have done that during the suspension period, the timer will start from the top. Like, it'll reset.
45 days?
Yes. The count for days of inactivity for the aforementioned estates will begin again with the release of patch 5.4. For players who have not entered their estate during the suspension period, the auto-demolition timer will resume from the time that was remaining as of Thursday, March 26th, 2020 at 8:10 p.m. PDT. So, enter your estate now so that it'll be reset when the patch comes out. I know, like, well, I have entered my estate since March, and I never used that house. So there you go. Well, I use it I use it a little.
You use it for things.
I use it for things that I cannot discuss.
Not those things. Get your mind out of the gutter.
Not those things. Not. Don't put that on the wiki. Please be advised that the timer will resume immediately after patch data is made available for download during the scheduled maintenance for patch 5.4. Because of this, there is the possibility the auto-demolition timer may expire for certain estates before maintenance is ended. An email notification will be delivered to the email address registered to the Square Enix accounts of those players whose estates will be prepared for auto-demolition within 10 days of scheduled maintenance. We strongly suggest those players log in and enter their housing before the scheduled maintenance for patch 5.4. The email notification will be delivered to the registered email addresses of all free company estate owners and their free company members, as well as private estate owners. I find it very difficult for, like very strange that a free company house would be auto-demolished. Like, at least, yeah, that means that is the biggest sign that your FC might be struggling a little if none of your members have entered the estate in like 45 days.
Or even 6 months.
Right, especially that. For players who have not entered their estates for at least 30 days, the status under the estate tab of the timers window will indicate the estate is being prepared for auto-demolition and denote the number of days remaining. This status will no longer be displayed upon entering the estate. Oh. Huh? So it won't tell you that it's...
It won't tell you when you're inside the estate because it technically is like infinite while you're inside because it can't be destroyed while you're inside it.
Oh, that's true, yeah. Please be advised that this window will only display the number of days until auto-demolition and not an exact time. We strongly urge you to enter your estate well before the scheduled day for auto-demolition. So there we go. Last warning, again, please enter your estate now if you haven't done that since March. If you want to keep it, that is.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Update. There's been a hotfix patched into 14 on November 10th. This, it's a hotfix. Very little gets changed in hotfixes. It's like, Smoke will no longer have a fat tail or something like that, right? But that would have been a sin. So don't touch Smock's tail. Actually, touch it, but don't shrink it. I always imagine Smock's tail is filled with cream, and then it's like, you know, those cream bags thing where you squeeze and then you put it on the cake. Oh, yeah. So that's what it looks like to me. Would you
sup upon his tail? Get that delicious cream.
If it's cream. If it's like whipped cream, then yes. Yeah.
Sweetest cream.
Oh,
known to the land.
I would suck Smock dry.
Someone clip that.
Fuck. Okay, anyways. The updates. Additional rewards have been added to skirmishes and critical engagements after completing the Battle of Castrum Lacus Litori. As such, the following adjustments have been made to the Bozjan Southern Front. So, players who have completed the side quest, The Lady of Blades, will now receive 3 Bozjan coins upon completing any critical engagement, excluding the Battle of Castrum Lacus Litori. And players who have completed the side quest, the Lady of Blades, will now receive 1 Bozjan coin upon completing any skirmish with a silver or gold rating. And Bozjan coins rewarded from skirmishes and critical engagements will not be displayed in the completion window and will only be displayed in the chat log.
Okay.
So, more ways of getting coins. Yeah.
It exists to motivate people to just stop leaving immediately after they clear Castrum Legislatore in an instance.
Yeah. That has become a bit of a problem. So it's nice that they've added this. Also, you need a lot of coins to like augment the gear. So this will make that process a little easier as well. Because what is the max amount of coins you can get from a Lacus run?
52?
52. Okay. So you need 999 coins, like, right? For the chest piece and for the
legs.
And then 599. I don't remember.
No, it's just 500 for headpiece.
Oh, 500.
500 for headpiece, gloves, and boots.
Right.
That's crazy hard.
I know.
It's harder to get than the relic.
Yeah, it is.
It's more of a grind for the.
Yeah, this is the grind.
That's the real grind. It's the glamour. Well, actually,
But you need haste, which I forgot what does again. But...
Yeah, what does haste actually do?
Increases your it decreases your GCD time, doesn't it?
So it's spell speed, but with a fancy name. I think we've had this discussion during when we talked about Eureka as well, because haste, that's where it was introduced. The mystery of haste. I guess it's just a glorified spell speed stat. Or it's both skill and spell. So there you go. That's what haste is, yeah. Yeah, so that's nice. Get those coins. You can get them from everything now. Well, not everything.
Don't feel compelled. Now you have a reason to stick around in Bozja after you complete the Castrum. All skirmishes and critical engagements will give you more coins.
Yes, because as it was before, after a Castrum run, the instance would die. So everyone would have left it. Probably not going to happen anymore. Well, people are there's still going to be those people that leave, but it's going to be less. There's more incentive to stay. All right. We know the name of the new tombstone. There are a post on the lodestone has revealed this name. It is the usual post that we get before every patch. Changes to elegant tombstones. Patch 5.4 will see a number of changes to tombstone currency, including the introduction of a new elegant tombstone and the removal of elegant tombstones of Goetia. We ask that any players currently carrying elegant tombstones of Goetia please exchange them for elegant tombstones of Phantasmagoria prior to the scheduled maintenance for patch 5.4. And the new tombstone's name is Elegant Tombstones of Revelation. Elegant Tombstones of Revelation will be added with patch 5.4. This new currency can only be received after reaching level 80 with at least one class or job. The rest is pretty much the same. So, Revelation. So, consider the name of the patch as well. Future Rewritten. Revelation. Could there be a link? I mean, rarely are... I mean, they are rarely linked.
And what does mythology have to do with anything?
Right.
I guess, what patch is mythology?
Well, here's a question. What did Phantasmagoria have to do with anything?
That's true.
What does Phantasmagoria mean again? Isn't that space game or the ghost game?
It's a ghost game.
It's a ghost game, yeah.
It's like, is it like...
It's not even a ghost game. I feel like it's more of just a murdery game.
It's just a murder mystery game, isn't it? Yeah.
A sequence of real or imaginary images, those seen in a dream.
Right.
I could see how that
Doesn't Phantasmagoria have like a fucking vampire or something in it? Like Dracula? I think there's some weird like plot in Phantasmagoria, which, Possession.
I don't remember. Yeah, it's Possession. I don't remember a vampire in Phantasmagoria.
Okay, it was the Possession. Someone goes really crazy in there. So
Let's Play?
Of Phantasmagoria.
I don't know.
No.
I think it would be very fun, but It's very, unless you have a guide, it's very obtuse.
Oh, it's an
Yeah.
FMV game.
It
Okay,
is.
I
Yeah.
realized.
It is an FMV game. It's very funny.
It would be fun to do,
It's
but I
not
don't.
supposed to be. It's not supposed to be funny.
No.
But now it's very funny.
Yeah. So that's the new tombstone. Wonder what it looks like. What color?
I'm gonna say it's a disc this time, actually.
A disc. We're going to like
It's gonna be a-
compact disc.
Yeah,
Okay.
Actually, you know what? Because 8 tracks.
Oh
Eight-
hell
two
yeah.
would look at 8 tracks.
Oh hell
Well,
yeah.
I don't think. Well, that would be cool. I don't expect the design of tones to change until at
No.
least next expansion.
Mhm.
As for the color, I want it to be purple.
Purple.
Purple. I'll just go pink because it's
Pink?
so unlikely to happen. But why not?
Mm,
Revelation. I'm feeling green.
Green is
Ooh.
what I think is likely.
Yeah. Green.
Feeling a nice lime green.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, moving on to perhaps the most condescending post on the lodestone I think I have ever read. Playing Final Fantasy XIV PS4 version using PlayStation 5 backwards compatibility. The PlayStation 5. I'm just going to read this post. I'm just no build up for this. You'll see what I mean. The PlayStation 5. The PlayStation 5 supports the ability to play the PS4 version of Final Fantasy XIV using backwards compatibility. We encourage users to read over a few important details regarding this process. Installing the PS4 version on the PlayStation 5. There are no special requirements to play on a PlayStation 5 using backward compatibility. However, the installation process will vary depending on whether users are playing the physical or digital download version of Final Fantasy XIV for the PS4. Here it comes. Sorry, I said I wasn't going to say anything, but you need to prepare. Physical version. Here's the install instructions. Insert the PS4 game disc into the disk drive of the PlayStation 5 and proceed with the installation. As the PlayStation 5 Digital Edition does not feature a disk drive, physical version users should read over the instructions on how to access the digital download version and proceed with the instructions below. Digital download version. On the PlayStation 5, select Game Library from your game's home and proceed with the download and installation of Final Fantasy XIV.
You've done it.
That's that. That's that, everyone. I hope that cleared it up for you. What a... I mean, I guess they had to do it because I'm sure some people would be a little... where, like, they don't... Some people might not know that they can play a PS4 game on the PS5, I guess.
I mean, they have been kind of weird about it. Like, do you remember when it was first talked about with backwards compatibility? Of, yeah, you can definitely play any PS4 game. And they're like, well, you can play major PS4 games. And it's like, well,
yeah.
you can play some. I don't even know exactly which.
That's weird that they were so squirrely about it, considering there's probably only, I think that they released a list and it's only like 8 games you can't play, that PS4 games you can't play on the PS5.
Yeah, they've released the official list now. However, now that the PS5 is out, people have started to test those games, and there are some games that technically work, but there's like shadows on the walls walking behind you. Like there's some weird artifacting and stuff going on in some of the games. But
Are you talking about Mighty Number 9? Because that's exactly what.
Oh, does that happen in that one?
It runs worse on the PS5.
That's very impressive.
Than it does on the
Because that's very impressive because Mighty Number 9 ran quite poorly on the PS4.
Yeah.
It runs worse.
Yeah. Oh my god. Well,
Have you seen the load times comparison, by the way, to stay sort of on topic?
no.
14 specifically.
Oh.
14.
No.
Yeah, I think they loaded into like whatever.
What did you say? You cut
I
out.
think they loaded into like Limsa or something like that.
Uh-huh.
Just timed a PS3 hard drive, a PS3 with an SSD, and then a PS4 with an SSD, and a PS4 hard drive, and then a PS5.
Uh-huh.
And
I was wondering why you were mentioning a PS3 because I was like, are they just
Yeah.
flexing on the PS3 at this point?
Yeah, sorry. Well, actually, it might have been a PS3 in there too, just to
Oh,
make
wow.
fun of it. But wow, it's just
Was it
it's an
fast?
SSD. It's relatively. It's like 20 seconds, so like same speed you get on it.
Oh, I would expect it to
Normal.
go much faster. But
I would expect it faster than 20 seconds.
It was around 20 seconds or so for the PS5. I think the thing about the PS4 was that it uses a SATA 3 interface for the drive. So even if you put an SSD, it'll be quicker, but there was a max limit on how quick it could be.
yeah.
It seems
Well, I
it just
guess
hit the wall.
20
PS5.
seconds? Is that what it takes for my computer? I don't know. I feel like
It might have been 18, something like
okay,
that. But
all right. Okay.
But
well,
it was faster.
It
It's
is
just-
faster. So, yeah, that makes sense. Have they compared the PS4 Pro? I feel like they should have. They should have used the PS4 Pro in that test. I don't know if they did that, Rollo, but
somewhere in there. I'll find it. Maybe I'll show
Yeah.
you guys. In
yeah. Okay, that is that's recent events. There is nothing else to add to the post. They do mention character data is not automatically transferred, but you should know all this. Back up in the cloud and download it when you have it installed on your PS5.
Make sure you back up regularly.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I should do that. It has been a little.
Yeah. And if you want to play the game at a higher resolution, navigate to System Configuration, Display Settings, and select the PS4 Pro option. But if you're already playing on a PS4 Pro, you know how to do this already. But if you don't, I guess, well, there you go. Right. Let's talk main story. There's a Q&A with Yoshi-P that's just been released by WCCFTech, whatever that is.
Yeah, I was about to ask, what does that mean?
Waffles can control fart tech. Jumping into the interview, you may remember that last year I was able to meet and interview Naoki Yoshida, speaking about Final Fantasy XIV. What was the driving factor in the success of the game? Oh, sorry, what? Speaking about Final Fantasy XIV, what was the driving factor in the success of the game, how to develop a successful live service title, and the future of Final Fantasy XIV? I was recently offered the chance to send off a few questions regarding the formation and function of markets and economies in an MMO, particularly that of Final Fantasy XIV. Having played a large number of MMOs, it's always interesting to see how an MMO can balance an economy as rampant inflation can occur, essentially cutting out the chance of any new players being able to afford things until much later on than would be normal. It's also interesting to see what an MMO economy is based on, the rules it follows, and what is taken into consideration when sweeping changes are made. These are things I tried to touch upon in the 7 questions I was able to send off to Naoki Yoshida. So that's really interesting. I've always been intrigued by how MMOs handle their economy, because it is an economy and it has to be, and it's not like regulated. There's no central bank of Eorzea that controls the economy. It's completely player based, but they will we've seen them make moves to change things up, especially gill sinks, as they like to call it, really expensive things to flush, Ragnarok and the legacy servers after launch were they remember I think they set, this might be a false memory, but I'll just someone correct me, but I have a feeling things were, I'm thinking about housing plots were set much higher on legacy servers just to flush the old gill out of the economy, because a lot of people in 1.0 had cheated the system. It's 1.0, buggy as hell. There were ways to get a lot of gill. They got less as a result of that in A Realm Reborn, where they literally just removed 1 digit off the currency. So they lost a lot. So stuff like that we've seen. So there is effort, I guess. I guess we'll learn more about it in this. So let's just jump into that. With Final Fantasy XIV now in its 10th year and 8 years since The Realm Reborn, I'm very interested in looking at a fundamental part of every MMO, the economy. The first question I have is, while making the game, what thoughts go into the making of an MMO economy? Naoki Yoshida says, for recent MMORPGs, there's not only the subscription-based model that we had from back in the day, but rather microtransactions are becoming more of a mainstream model. Firstly, the design of the in-game economy will change depending on the difference in business model. Further than that, there is no unconditionally correct economy system, as the game design itself would differ whether the game is based around content consumption, like WoW or 14, or whether it's based around a time-to-win approach. In the case of a subscription-based game, there are not really many restrictions placed on the amount of items that can be obtained. On the other hand, in the case of a microtransaction model, games tend to place restrictions with real money on the capacity of players' bags and items obtained. Of course, due to this, the value attributed to the in-game items will greatly differ, and that will result in the difference of whether the main economy revolves around personal selling and trading, or whether a focus is placed on an in-game market. For 14, we set the average amount of gil that can be obtained per day, and while maintaining inflation as much as we can, intentionally create the areas where gil is to be recouped with the system. Since we've designed it so that rewards from high difficulty contents are more valuable in the game, we have limited the possibility for gil prices to soar for gear synthesized by the Disciples of the Hand. But we've incorporated intentional design decisions so that the early stages of clearing raids, it is such gear synthesized by Disciples of the Hand that must be relied upon to deal out the most damage or provide the best protection. Consumables, like medicines and meals, equally serve an important role during those periods. If I elaborate any further, I'll probably end up writing 10,000 words, so I'll leave it at this. During the creation of the... Sorry, that was it. That was that. Sorry. Yeah.
Could you imagine if 14 had like the economy of some other, where they had a real life, like they were tied to a real currency, like EVE Online, or
Yeah.
Well, I guess.
Oh, you cut out, Rollo.
Sorry. I guess WoW sort of does have.
Yeah.
Two. I forgot how much gold is like WoW token is worth, but they have like a real life economist that manages the economy of EVE.
Yeah.
EVE. I mean, there's no point to do that in 14. There would be no point.
No. So
something so crazy.
I joked about having a central bank. EVE essentially has that with that guy. The economist is essentially the central bank of EVE. But EVE is in EVE, the economy is... yeah, that's essentially the game. They've done a good job at regulating the gil. I've never really felt that the gil has changed in like value. Like the inflation has never really hit. I've seen it. Remember when they switched to market boards being accessible through world visits? There was some servers that suffered during that, where the gil fell in value quite a lot, but and in some increased as people emptied the market. But I think they've done a good job, considering that we don't have like an economist, we don't have a central bank regulator. It's just devs putting in gil sinks and stuff.
Have you?
Yeah, go on.
You should probably write an interesting thesis about the globalization of the Final Fantasy XIV market with the introduction of World Visit and possibly the introduction of Server Visit later on.
Yeah. If I cared enough, I would have probably like made a series about the economy of Final Fantasy XIV. But I don't think that's something people would watch. I think it's something that people would watch. I just don't think it's because you're not interested in it. I don't think it's necessarily for you to make. You know, I feel like it's something I would be though if I actually got into it, but I don't want to. I don't want
It's
to.
time to study macroeconomics. I think. I think you should go back to school.
I don't want to do that.
Yeah, just money of a realm, more.
Yeah, more. That's so good. Shit, I have to make it now. Announcing a new project, everyone. There's another. No, I'm not. During the creation of the financial system of the game, do you look at other video games or any real-world examples, using them as references? Were any particular examples used in the creation of 14's economy? Yoshida says, no, we don't particularly refer to real-world examples. However, using our knowledge about what sort of currency systems are used in other games, we do make an effort to gauge how currency is transferred between players. Apart from that, most of it comes down to our experience as players and conducting numerical simulations. It goes without saying that we also need staff who are well-versed in such thought processes, designs, and simulations. One point, though, is that when we are preparing something like an auction system for the game, we do endeavor to study real-world auction sites and auction systems. That is because a well-trusted and long-lasting system offers high stability and functionality.
Auction system?
Did it just mean player selling in general? I think, right?
When we are preparing something like an auction system for the game...
Is he teasing something?
Is he teasing something without, like, really... And the interviewer is, like, not catching it? Because that's big if true. An auction house.
What would they be auctioning in this game?
That's just what they call player selling in general.
That's the market board. Well,
Yeah,
auction.
Yeah.
It's not an auction,
Yeah.
though. It's just, like, listing.
It's not, but, like, they call it that.
Well, he says... Well, the way he words this, it says... when we are preparing something like an auction system for the game, it's like they're planning to put something new into the game. We do endeavor to study real-world auction sites and auction systems.
An auction system would be very interesting if added to the game, because as the system is right now, it's very much a buyer's market. But with an auction system, they could turn it into a crafter's market much more strongly. If specifically at the start of like raid patches, if crafters didn't have to compete with each other as much in that sense of the word, or since in that manner, and they were able to just put their items up for auction in some sort of auction system, then it'll be determined by who's willing to pay the highest amount, rather than who's willing to try and wait and see who puts it up for the lowest price.
Yeah. I mean, also, we have to remember this could just be poor wording. He could be talking in hypotheticals as well. It is Yoshi-P, so I think he would have made a bigger number out of like saying, "Oh, auction house that we're planning to put into the game." He would have done more than that. He would have actually explained it. All right. As with any, or not say it. Also,
yes.
As with any currency, gil has to have an intrinsic value. This can be judged by the set prices of items like potions, food, etc. How do you decide the prices of these items? As more money goes into the system through increased players and a natural trickle of gameplay, do you ever look at changing the value of these items? Again, 1.0 comes to mind when they switched over and they just cut the last digit off everyone's money. I guess that would be like, is that devaluing the gil? Is that what that's called? I mean, I think it's way more scientific than that. I don't think they just remove a digit. I don't think that's how they normally do it to reduce inflation. Because usually a potion would be like 1,000 gil in 1.0, but now it's 100. We are constantly monitoring the data for the Eorzean economy. We have the total amount of gil provided to players from the system we have the total amount of gil provided to players from the system for a given day, and the total amount of gil recouped by the system on the other hand. We also
I would
have
be so interested to see those numbers.
yeah. You'll see it in more episode 1. Um,
Track
we,
it yourself.
yeah. We also have thorough support mechanics in place, such as visibility into the average amount of gil held by each player in a given level bracket, and alerts for players who drastically increase the amount of gil in their possession over a short time span. In it, there you go. To the people, you know who you are. In addition to containing inflation, these are useful for us in detecting so-called RMT vendors, dupe glitches on our servers, and gil farming. In monitoring these factors, we try to contain disparities in pricing by adjusting the market trading value in gil for newly added items and the amount of gil recouped by the system, while leaving the prices of most items sold by NPCs unchanged, because they are set based on indicators that serve at the foundation. To summarize, we will not adjust fixed prices unless there is a very major event that would warrant it. We did end up adjusting the pricing of several thousand items with the latest update in patch 5.35, as the purchase price was deemed too low or the selling price too high for those. But this has been the first time since the launch of A Realm Reborn. So, yeah. I forgot that they did that. It was like hidden.
Which items they changed.
It was like hidden at the bottom of the patch notes.
It was.
Along these lines, it's natural for even more money to enter the system. To prevent excessive inflation of prices, do you plan on creating further money-out systems like player housing? The added value is that these also act as goals for players to work towards. Yoshida says it's true indeed that player housing is one area toward which greatly accumulated funds of gil can be spent. It doesn't just stop at housing, though. Items such as stylish gear with unique designs are also part of our mechanics. The main goal players would have in mind for raising funds are things such as collecting garden or house furnishings, or perhaps acquiring their favorite gear to dress up their character with. I also work towards generating gil myself for all the gear, materia, food, and potions I need for tackling raids. He laughs.
Materia is not difficult to obtain.
No. And also, you don't have to spend money to get materia either. You can use all the different other currencies, the tokens and stuff.
At least not for raiding. The most difficult materia to obtain is gathering and crafting materia.
You can still buy those for scripts, for white scripts and
yes, you
whatnot.
can.
Yeah. For player trading, Final Fantasy XIV made a particularly large change from market wards to the market board. What was the drive behind this change? Oh, the market wards. Rest in peace. The answer is simple. Market wards were too much of a bother for players as they couldn't immediately find the items they wanted. What players want to do is partake in adventures, not scouring the contents of a retainer's bag to prepare for the adventure. A market system was not implemented with our service system on the original 14, but we ensured to prepare the specifications for this in good time as we set about production for A Realm Reborn, and we designed the servers so that they could withstand it. Time is very valuable for all our players. We acted because I'd rather players spend their time on adventuring than shopping. Smiles. A convenient market system will increase sellers, and because of that, purchasers who make up the demand will also rise in turn. Convenience is of utmost importance. Amazon for the win.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't add that in?
Is that
a...
No.
Oh, okay.
No, that was from the article.
I just wanted to make sure.
That's
Why would we add that in?
We wouldn't add that in. This is a really weird thing to say, but yes.
I haven't heard for the win in a while.
Yeah.
He is an old man.
That's true. That's true. Yeah. What were you saying, Georgi? Did you say something?
I was just going to say, I wish I lived in a country where Amazon was good.
Oh.
Yeah. We don't have Amazon up here. We have to use the British one. But that's about to change. They are establishing in Scandinavia now.
Oh.
So here's what you should be concerned about, Likio, is that we have Amazon in Australia, but it's still shit.
Oh, okay. So I can expect that probably. Just a shittier version of Amazon. Okay. In keeping with player-to-player trading, prices naturally fluctuate, but our prices ever managed by increasing or reducing drop rates of of items or materials? Yoshida says, yes. As we monitor the GIL, like I previously mentioned, a remarkably high sales value for certain items would indicate to us that those items are not being made available enough. In times like this, we employ various forms of control, such as increasing the item drop rate with hotfixes or reducing the number of materials required in recipes for crafting, like they just did in the previous hotfix. The recent. As a final question, have you seen any similarities or trends in-game that reflect something from the real world? If so, what was it? And is this bad? No. If not, could you see what's happening in the future? It's rather difficult to provide a if this was COVID again, I would have fucking lost my marbles. Yeah.
There's no mention of COVID in this article at all.
We did it.
Thank God.
It's been months.
It is rather difficult to provide a concrete example. What I can say is that even when a person is playing in the game, their way of thinking is the same as in real life. Those who want their items as fast as possible will not mind paying a higher price to a certain degree, whereas others, who aren't satisfied unless they can find the best deal, will only purchase after traveling across other worlds to check the prices. These types of behavior do not differ so greatly from the purchase mindset that consumers have in reality, and I do not think we'll see a trend toward any particular purchasing style moving forward either. In recent years, we've even seen virtual try-it-on functions appearing on real-life e-commerce platforms, which had been available earlier in video games. Well, I can't really think of much.
What are these virtual try-it-on functions?
You can try on. I know you can try on glasses, and I think I've seen try on
Yeah.
like headwear, but I don't know
You can do it for furniture. Like
yeah.
I've
you
been
can.
like, oh, I'm gonna grab this dresser or something from Amazon. It's like, oh, see what it looks like in real life, or like in through AR. It's like, oh, okay, place it in your room.
Yeah.
It's fucking weird.
Also, the mail, Norwegian Mail has a thing where they can visualize the package for you, so you can see how big it is before you pick it up. That's really convenient if you think you're getting a really big package and you're like, maybe I'll need like help, maybe I'll need a fucking car for this, and it'll show you that how big it is. It's really cool. Yep, that's that. That's the interview. That's a really interesting. I mean, yeah. It's about the economy of 14, kind of a niche topic, but it's different. I like that. It's not the usual, like, how did you get through the pandemic? How is it like working from home? What did you learn from A Realm Reborn? Like, the usual, the usual questions. This was good. That was from
It's nice.
WCCFTech. Yes.
It's nice having something new, or not even necessarily something new, but it's something that like most interviews just won't focus on because it's not exciting. It's not the sexy topic to talk about.
Right. Yeah.
Let's talk about measurement.
Yeah, and it's also like about it. Oh, that would be interesting too. Like measure, but I don't know how long of an interview that would be.
Let's talk about ilms.
Well, I would question why did they choose to make a system based on Imperial?
Because for most of the world, that's like fantasy measurements. That is literally why.
Well, after the British, they use stones. Okay.
That's true.
Talk to them.
That's true, actually. But they use both. They use both your fantasy system and like their fucking ancient, like Stone Age measurements.
Fucking the stone.
Yes, what did you say, Georgi? Sorry.
I was just gonna say I don't understand why they use both.
No. Switch. Pick one. Pick one, Britain.
Canadians use both too, right?
Who?
Canadians, they use both.
Oh, they
close to them,
oh yeah, you have influenced them. Yeah.
Well, that's not their fault.
No, that's your fault.
They have a very pushy neighbor.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know.
It's also, this interview is also interesting because it's about like a system that you take for granted. It's just there, but there's actually a lot of thought going into it because it is an economy. So there you go. That was that interview. I guess we will read some MogMail now. Um,
A lot of time for MogMail. Exciting.
Many
Finally.
times for Mog.
finally, MogMail redemption. Let's see. MogMail.
Mogmail redemption arc.
MogMail, where are you, MogMail? Will you be here today? Yes! Our first MogMail comes to us from Eldrius Valian from Siren. Hello, speakers. This is my first time sending in MogMail. First, I'd like to thank you all for always having interesting and exciting content. I've become a huge fan and have watched almost everything on your YouTube channel more than once. With that said, I've come up with more than a few theories over the years. This one, in particular, was enough to prompt me into writing. With the nods to 1.0 throughout A Realm Reborn and each expansion, especially Shadowbringers, how far-fetched would it be for Square Enix to take us back to 1.0 in an expansion all on its own? 1.0 remake, story and all, would scratch an itch I, and I'm sure many others, have had for a long time. As a day one A Realm Reborn player, it has always driven me a little mad that I missed out on the 1.0 era. In response, I have watched and studied almost everything I could about 1.0, so I am aware of some obstacles that may come into play, pun intended. One such obstacle being that much of the 1.0 map was retconned or completely removed. Thus, my rebuttal. Much like the Exarch brought us from the source to the first, or Emmet recreating scenes from the pre-sundered Amarant, have Hydaelyn take us back to 1.0 Eorzea pre-Calamity. As the Emmet's Amarant is his recollection of the pre-sundered world, Hydaelyn's 1.0 Eorzea will depict her memories of the OG Final Fantasy XIV, allowing us to live, or relive 1.0 in all its glory, and now with flying mounts. Nod to the old Shroud Maces. Sorry for the long-winded mail, but as a 1.0 junkie, this idea has been gnawing at me for as long as I can remember, and would give 14 the grand finale that we all are wanting when the time is right. Please keep up the good work, and may you ever walk, pause for dramatic effect, in the light of the crystal. Okay. Thank you, Eldrius.
Well, there was some story in 1.0. Right?
There was, yeah. It was short, which, well, it wasn't short. I mean, it's a base game story, so it goes on for a while. But it was artificially gated by massive level gates, like 10 levels between MSQ quests and stuff. I mean, they would have to add stuff to it. Like, in this hypothetical, if we got an expansion like that, they would need to make more story out of the story. Because remember, it was like half finished. So, whether it is likely they would ever do it, I don't think it is likely. Especially, well, at least not with Yoshi-P behind the wheel. Because Yoshi-P, he's done with 1.0. To him, 1.0 was like this burden that he had to deal with. Probably not good memories for him working in that on that game.
I will say Eldris's approach is more realistic than some other people's in the sense that they are essentially asking for an entire expansion based around this. Because there are people out there that are just like, why don't you just add those old zones to the game? Surely it's not that difficult.
Like West Shroud.
Be very different.
Rest in peace.
Why did you look at the sky when you did that?
Rest in peace, West Shroud.
No,
Also, I
no,
think-
look down.
Yeah.
I think if they were to do this, they would only be able to choose like one section of each part of the map. And because there would be no way for them to do it with like load tunnels, because those don't exist in this version of 14 anymore.
Right.
You'd need to pick like, we want like West Shroud. We will specifically remake West Shroud. We'll specifically remake Kurthus. What sections of Kurthus don't exist in our current
Eastern
game?
Lowlands.
Isn't that a PvP map?
Yeah.
That's Shatter, isn't it?
Shatter. Well, there is nothing. Oh, Kurthus Central Highlands. Lowlands? The Lowlands are what doesn't exist anymore, right?
Perth Central Lowlands. So that would be another zone that they could choose to bring back.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
I wouldn't say it's like impossible. They're not asking for just do 1.0 again, like Yogi said.
No.
Yeah.
I think it's definitely more like maybe greatest hits of 1.0.
Yeah.
And maybe retool it from there and just kind of
giving players the ability to like experience pre-calamity Eorzea, I guess, is what a lot of people want. They don't want 1.0 back because no one really wants 1.0 back. I mean, those who do have just put on the fattest rose-tinted glasses that they could find. The ones that make your eyes like this, like massive and pink. It's, I don't know. It's just pre-calamity Eorzea expansion.
It would need so much though. You would, because the story is just, it ends with Dalamud.
Yeah.
You have the fight.
But a lot of people want to experience that. A lot of people just want to have been there when Dalamud came down. They want to like experience that, and knowing what they can do now with the sky based on your level, like MSQ progression, they could make the Dalamud coming closer thing happen. It just feels unlikely to happen right now. Actually,
I'm just not sure where it could go because it's a very Garlean, kind of like. That's the point, it's like the Guardians are bringing around Dalamud, fighting the legate or whatever's face.
Yeah.
My worry would be that if for any story related to us going back in time to 1.0, I feel like it would be very reminiscent of what we've gone through in this latest expansion. I would have difficulty imagining a plot that does not tread upon similar ground.
Well, the thing is that when we arrive on the first, it has already happened. Like, we were there in the aftermath. And, like, this is just the final... Like, with Dalamud, there's so much happening. Like, Aetherytes start malfunctioning. Animals are starting to behave erratically. There's having struggles. Like, things are breaking. Society is starting to, like, burst at the seams. Because things are changing. That's, like, an interesting concept. It was executed... poorly in 1.0 because of the limitations of the game. But... it was implied and it was told through like text and stuff, but imagine what they could do with the game engine that they have now.
Hey, admin spawning high-level mobs is funny.
That is funny.
Like,
it is.
Yeah.
That is. Yeah. That's like hands-on interaction right there.
Yeah. Yeah. And having like Atomos spawning in camps, like sucking the crystal, like the Aetheryte crystals. It's like stuff like that is quite cool. But the thing is, I think we're just ignoring the fact that essentially the expansion would just be Eorzea again. Like, who wants an expansion with just Eorzea again, but a little different? It's like back in time. Do you really want that?
I mean, if it focused on sections that we don't get to experience now, like imagine being able to go to Mordona South.
Yeah, that's true. That would be pretty cool. I mean, I am all for it, but I'm just thinking about it.
But the problem here is, I think I'd rather experience these locations that we can't visit in the modern Eorzea. I would like to see what they would do with them now, rather than just try and recreate them from back in the day.
Yeah. Oh god, but imagine going back in time. We could like see the Gelmora ruins like fully unearthed. There's so much you could like they could do with it. Oh, Gelmora stuff. They could do lots of it.
Were there any other like loose threads from 1.0 really now, aside from some minor stuff like the Leviathan, not Leviathan?
Oh, the serpent. That would be Seal Rock. And I guess they've already sort of finished that storyline. They split the storyline in two. And the first part isn't even a storyline. It's just Seal Rock is here now. And you PvP on it.
What a sad fate.
Which is really sad. Because in 1.0, that was like hyped up to be like some real epic shit. And then it isn't. Um,
The Star Shower used to be, I guess.
yeah, that was they resolved that. Yeah, there's Garlemald. Yeah, there is just Garlemald left. The rest, I think, has been picked up for the most part. Unless there's like stuff, like side stories and stuff, I guess, that never got resolved. But who cares? Like, who remembers? I'm trying to remember like a really vital side story now. No, I don't think. I don't think that.
The Path Companion. Where's?
Yeah, that's good. That's a good one. Where did the Path Companion go? But see, that would only be relevant for legacy players. So that one I don't think will ever be resolved.
What if you have the Path Companion while you're doing the expansion? And he's like, "Hey, make sure you don't forget me." In the, I don't know.
That could be what the 1.0 expansion could entirely be about. Like you realizing in the modern day that you need to bring the Path Companion back because they're necessary to save the world.
Yeah.
The Path Companion is the shard version of Hades, of Emmett Self.
Yes.
He got sharded. Oh wait! No!
He got sharded.
Fuck.
Oh no. Oh no.
Ignoring what you said, it doesn't even make sense. Because Emmett Selk is unsundered. He's not
That's
supposed
true.
to have shards.
That's why it's funny. I mean, not fun. That's why it makes you think. Because it's like, why is he a shard?
Right.
He shouldn't be, but here's a piece of him.
Yeah.
That could be a big mystery.
Okay.
Also, a 1.0 expansion would mean all of the Asians would be alive.
Yeah.
So they could bake that in.
La Habrea backstory.
Yeah.
I still wonder about La Habrea, Elidibus, and Emmett Selk. Why were these three the only Asians that were unsundered?
Three amigos.
That's the answer.
They're not really friends with each other.
No. Well, they were at one point.
Yeah.
But Ikiom seemed closer to La Habrea.
Yeah. Yeah, so, God, were we? Oh, yes, 1.0. Yeah, also unlikely, like I said, I think they want to look forward and not backward, which is why they are now resolving all the 1.0 storylines. I wonder, though, if... I know people hate when I bring this up, but, like, if there ever was a time for Yoshi-P to leave 14... Do you think that would be when he's like resolved all of the storylines of 1.0? He feels like he's done his job. Like he has finished 1.0 and the rebirth of the game. That would be the perfect cutting off point, like handing it over to someone else.
I mean, I've been very okay with the idea of Yoshi-P leaving after the next expansion if it resolves the Zodiac Heideland storyline.
Yeah.
You can let
or at
someone
least
else
leaving
know.
one of his two roles that he has to do all by himself.
Yes, or that. Yeah. Yeah. Because how long is he gonna be like both of those roles? That's still a lot of work, and he's working on 16. Like,
yeah,
he
he's
smokes
also
like a chimney. Like,
and he's also
Think he's gonna die now?
I'm just saying it's not good on his body that he's got this stress on him as well.
he's also on the board of directors, isn't he?
Yes, he is.
Of Square Enix.
Yeah.
Or they're gonna make Mr. Atma the guy. I feel like
Excuse me?
they're gonna make Mr. Atma. Why do I say it like that? Mr. Atma.
Mr.
Sorry.
Atman.
Mr. Atma.
Yeah.
The guy in charge or something.
Uh-huh.
Why Mr. Atma?
It'd be funny.
Just funny. Yeah.
He'd just be like, fuck it. This guy's in charge. Have fun.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So that's
All those stakes will get to him.
Okay, right. Next question. Thank you, Eldrius. I hope we answered your question. I also, but just final thoughts on that is that I also think if they were to do like a 1.0 expansion, they would have to like. There's a lot of how do you sell that? How do you sell an expansion based on like, oh, you're going back? Remember when that game was shit? That's our expansion coming this year.
Unlike
Yeah.
unlike 1.0, there's not like a nostalgia. Sorry, not 1.0. Unlike WoW Classic, there's not a nostalgia for 1.0. It's more like this rose-tinted image of what it once was.
I wouldn't even say rose-tinted. It's just like this like this idea people have built up in their head of like, oh my god, this was so like this lost age of knowledge. and
Yeah.
Which is cool that it's kind of like.
I mean, it is. I mean, okay, now we're being rude. Very like there are 1.0 plays that are genuinely nostalgic about 1.0 because
that's fine.
Some parts of the game were good. Like there was a community, or the RP scene was pretty good in 1.0 because there's not much else to do. So I mean, some people have genuine like nostalgic feelings from 1.0. There aren't many of them. I think is the problem here. Is I don't think it's enough to sell like an expansion like targeted at them, because a lot of those people aren't even playing 14 anymore. Maybe that's how they get them back, like a 1.0 expansion. Get those 20 people back into the game.
You can stop the Bahamut from coming down.
I don't.
You can do it. That's the expansion. Stop Dalamud from crashing.
That is my biggest fear, though. That's kind of why I don't want this. Is that they go back to like rewrite history, so they'll be like, oh yeah, the calamity never happened now.
We've saved
Well,
it.
see, here's the thing with if they do that, they've already proven that multiple timelines can exist, so it would never affect our own timeline.
Yeah, but it's going to be fucking annoying because people will be like, well, actually, the calamity didn't happen now. I'm like, okay. How do you explain? How do you explain this? Because we will go back to yours. Because there's no way that in that expansion they'll also change a Realm Reborn's map. So there's no like Dalamud fragments. So we'll come back to a world where there's still Dalamud fragments, but no one's acknowledging the calamity. They're like, what are you talking about? Yeah, I'm like,
well, they've already established that multiple timelines exist. That's what the last Tales from the Shadows did.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. That which is why they would do stuff like that. But what I am saying is that let's say we go back. Oh, you mean so we are not part of that timeline? Why would we go back and do that in the first place then? If we're not going to stay in that timeline.
Maybe we need someone from that timeline to survive who doesn't survive.
Also, how do we stop Dalamud from descending? We tried everything in 1.0. We
We're
tried to
much
summon
more
the Twem.
The Twen?
What if we go back for Louis Suave? Bring him back.
We're much more powerful than we were back then, Lucio.
Yeah, but we tried to summon the 12. I think they are...
Yeah, but we could have the power of Heidelin very soon.
We don't even know if Heidelin is good.
We don't, but I'm just saying, we could be very powerful soon.
That's what I don't want. This like belittling of 1.0 storyline, like those little babies, they didn't have the power of anime on their side back then. I don't want that.
God and anime on our side.
Need to respect the fact that 1.0's like end was a very dramatic end. It forever changed the realm, killed hundreds of thousands of people. It was a massive calamity. It's called a calamity for a reason. I don't want us to go back and be like, Luis was like, oh my god, the world's ending. Yeah. I don't even know if we can summon the 12 for this. And you're like, gone, bye. And it's like, and Luis Suave lives in the new timeline, and everything's good.
Listen, Tomb Samadhi is the key to the defeating Heidelin, and we need it.
No.
But Louis Suave needs to hold it specifically, or else it doesn't work.
Yeah, what if we go back in time and steal Tomb Samadhi?
So we get to like the summoning ritual, and he's like, Oh, fuck! I forgot Toopsie Marty. Where's Toopsie Marty? It's just Dollar just fucking descends. That'll be funny.
Yeah,
It's a different timeline. It doesn't matter.
He just fucking dies. He just dies right there. There's no phoenix or anything. It's just fucking dead old man on a cliff. Oh my god, how sad.
I'm just having a stable timeline. I miss Alex.
I do too, Rollo.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
thought that that's what we were going for in this expansion.
Yeah.
And then they just went and made multiple timelines a thing.
That
It bothers me that we have
Cafe.
two types of time. It bothers me that we have two types of time travel in this game.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Leave 1.0 alone in terms of story, but it's nice to go back. If we go back, I want us to be like, we cannot affect the outcome. Like most other time travel shows and games, you shouldn't fuck up the timeline. But in 14, I guess anything goes. Whatever you want,
You know
you can
what?
do it.
Luke Heel, I just had a vision for the future, right?
Oh.
They're going to resolve the serpent thing from 1.0. You know what's going to happen?
What?
I'm getting the thought right.
Uh-huh.
You're going to be on a fishing voyage. Be in the background when you get the spectral current. That's it.
Beautiful. That... Thank you. That's how that's resolved. He's done it.
Yeah. It's going to be like, wow, the big old serpent. Watch
The
out,
big old
lads.
serpent.
He's throwing fish onto your lures. I don't...
Oh, the guardian of Seal Rock. Oh, blessing us with fish.
Fishing in the main scenario would be cool.
Yeah.
No, this is strictly for fishing.
Oh, this
ocean
is strictly.
fishing.
This is fishing lore only.
This is not MSQ. But don't you dare!
Oh my god. Anyways, that's. I think we need to move. We need to move on to the second MogMail.
Yeah.
Thank you, Eldrius. As you can tell, we could talk about this for forever. Right, next MogMail. Genovatia Twintania. Hello, speakers.
You
Love you
skipped
all.
one.
Huh, I did?
We can answer this one, but you skipped one.
Oh, sorry. Did I? Oh yeah,
Oh,
Lithius
well.
and Toberg.
Sorry, Genova. You'll probably
we'll get
you'll
back to you
probably
next
have something
time.
next week.
Yeah, hello speakers,
We might
a
have
little
time.
one. Hydaelyn were able to defeat Zodiac despite the fact that more souls had been sacrificed to summon the will of the planet. Could it be because his heart, Elidibus, were missing? What remains of a primal like this when his heart is no longer there? Bonus, to support Kyorgi's theory about a possible link between the Ancients and Sharlayan due to architectural similarities with the Anamnesis Anider, we can add the fact that the equipment of this dungeon uses the skin of the 270 Shire gear from Idleshire.
It's actually a very good point.
Thank you. Yeah?
I worry that the reason that they look the same is just because they were reusing.
That's how they do in old
Yeah.
dungeons. None of the gear, like nowadays, seems to link
But
up with the dungeon anymore.
I like it as a theory.
It's kind of like
I really-
trying to link the tomestones to the name of the patch.
Mhm.
It's kind of the same
But-
reach, but yeah.
They are at least a little bit related.
They are. I mean,
Like Phantasmagoria was like, at first I was like, haha, that's, and then the definition, it's like, oh, well, actually.
that's true. I can see. Okay.
Like
yeah.
mythology, I mean, I got nothing from mythology.
Well,
sorry.
mythology is a
Uh,
realm reborn. I think there were a little bit. Yeah, I don't think they
Can you explain for me poetics, Rollo?
What?
explain poetics and how that links to anything.
Poetics
Oh, explain.
2.5.
Yeah.
No, I can't.
Yeah.
Maybe everything past Stormblood and past, we can maybe try and relate something.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if prior to that, I don't think it's possible. But
Right.
Phantasmagoria, that was right
s-
on the money.
I can see that. Yeah. Okay.
Mhm.
Right. So, do you think Hydaelyn managed to defeat Zodiark because Elidibus was missing? I'm assuming.
So that's,
Yeah.
the explanation that I've always thought in my head is because Hydaelyn was specifically engineered to defeat Zodiac
Yes.
is what allowed Hydaelyn to win.
That was like by design. I'm assuming they designed her more powerful than Zodiark, so that she would be able to
So
do
is
that.
is it possible that the summoning of the 12 might have worked if they were if instead of summoning the 12, they attempted to summon something specifically designed to defeat Bahamut? Because summoning the 12 was just like, we want to summon our old gods,
Yeah.
but they didn't.
Summoning of the 12 is very weird because no one really knew what they were praying for. Like they had like when you do the quest, it's like, okay, we don't have much to go on. Like some of the gods were literally just a symbol to most people. I mean, there are statues of like, what's the one in Gridania? What's the guardian deity of Gridania? Shit. Nimia?
Nimia?
Yeah. Nimea, she's on the coins as well, right? Is that... Yeah. So there are some that are depicted,
so.
but some are just abstract, like, symbols. I don't think I've ever seen, like, a statue of Thaliak. Like, Thaliak's just a book. Right? So, yeah. Oshon is a cane. So a lot of people were just praying to old gods that they had no like mental image of. So yeah.
Well, in the scholarless storyline, there you pick up a book at some point that consists of lewdly rendered versions of the female gods. So at the very least, all of the female gods have visualizations.
Of course. I see. Yeah.
And then I will say, after you pick it up, you're like, this has nothing to do with us right now.
Yeah. Okay. Right. Yeah. I think Zodiac was just weaker than Hydaelyn. That's that. What remains of a primal like this when the heart is no longer there? So in this hypothetical, we have theorized that Hydaelyn might be missing her heart, right? We've talked about that Vena might not be part of Hydaelyn right now. And if that's correct, we are seeing Hydaelyn in a weakened state. Like she is weak right now. That's all. We haven't talked to her in a long time, and she is very weak. So, God, I hope the next patch has more Hydaelyn in it. I really want to know what's going on.
Wasn't the original position of the convocation to observe and not interfere? And that was what annoyed them so much about Azim.
Oh, yeah.
Or at least annoyed Emet-Selch and La Habrea.
Yeah.
So maybe if Vana ever did separate... but we don't know if Vana was part of the convocation, but maybe even if she or he wasn't a member of the convocation, they liked the concept of the convocation. And so when they separated from Hydaelyn, that's what led to them creating Sharlayan as like an idealization of what the convocation should have been. And that would be their entire focus in the same way that Elidibus was entirely focused upon his goal of... what is exactly Elidibus's goal? It's something like... maintaining balance.
Maintaining balance between light and dark. Yeah. Still, the reason I find it difficult to discuss theories about Zodiark and how it relates to Hydaelyn is that we haven't heard from Hydaelyn since Stormblood. So, did we hear from her in Stormblood, or is it? No, yeah, we definitely heard from her in Stormblood, right?
When?
No, it was Heavensward.
It was Heavensward.
Holy hells! It has been so long. And now we have all this information fed to us from one side only. And we have nothing from her side. So it's very difficult for me to form any theory right now because it's all the information we have is fed to us from an ASEAN who I mean, they have their own interests. So yeah. Right, hopefully the next patch we'll be able to discuss this more when we have more to go off of. All right, I think that's it for today. Thank you for watching, everyone. That is the end of Speakers of Island episode 221 on this November 14th. Remember to follow on Twitter at SpeakersXIV, twitch.tv/SpeakersOfIsland, youtube.com/SpeakersXIV, exclamation Discord in chat if you want to join our Discord server, and if you're watching on demand, link is in the description. We will be back next week, same time, same place. Remember to stay tuned if you're watching live. If you want to watch the post-show, we'll be answering questions from the Syndicate. Yes, Georgi?
We will post the survey in the chat when the show ends, and it will be in the description of the podcast on YouTube as well.
Yes, and audio listeners as well.
Question.
It'll also be in the audio listeners description as well. So make sure you check that out and fill it out for us. All right, we'll see you after the break for the post show if you're watching live. If not, we'll see you next week. Goodbye.